Yo, once again, it's on. Back at you one more again, Real Kens TV and the House Like Kitchen Sinks. Hopefully you like the video. Feel free to comment, definitely share. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. And be sure to hit that post notification. So anytime I bring you this action and this heat, guess what? You're amongst the first to receive. Now, with no further ado, let's get into this afternoon's video, if you will. 4:57, Monday afternoon. Pretty disgusted. Pretty disgusted. You know, you all that follow me, you know I'm a lifelong Dallas Cowboy fan. I have no words. I have no excuses. Great game by Green Bay, but I have no words. Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones, get out the way. Hire a real GM and let them run the damn team, man. I mean, it's just ridiculous, man. This is ridiculous. I am so frustrated. However, I didn't get on here to rant and rave. There is a message today. I wanted to tell you all a story, rather. I was going to say situation, but I want to tell you all an actual true story that took place, I want to say, maybe about 10, 12 years ago. It's two brothers. Close, man. Same mother, same father. And you got one brother, he's kind of in the street. Well, he's clearly in the streets, blatantly in the streets. You know, he's just doing his thing. You know, he's in the game, he's selling, he's shooting, he's getting shot at. He's living the street life, getting his money at fast money. And you got another brother who's more laid back. You know, go to school. I think he was in like vocational school, something like that, and he didn't get into any trouble. Well, he was at an apartment complex one day, and he was having an issue with some guys. And so, now when I say he was having some issues, I'm speaking of the brother that didn't get into any trouble. He called his brother up, bruh, I'm over here, there's a couple dudes over here, they talking kind of crazy, man, I need you. The brother comes, no hesitation. So when the brother comes, he rounds up a couple of his partners, and they bring that thing with him. You see what I'm saying? They bring that thing with him. Now, when he called his brother, he already knew that his brother, he know how his brother rides. He knows how his brother rolls. So he knows that 9 times out of 10, how he's coming. Pause. So the brother gets there. What's up, man? You got a problem with my brother or something? No, it wasn't nothing like that, man. It wasn't. You sure? No, we cool, man. Everything's cool, man. It was just a misunderstanding. I think the brother, I want to say he overanalyzed the situation, if you will. He thought that it was something, but it didn't turn out to really be anything. Now, would it possibly been something? I don't know. I wasn't there. But at any rate, brother gets in the car. Now, the brother that called, he's actually the older brother. So he calls upon his younger brother, who's in the streets. So the older brother gets in the car, and they riding. I guess they're taking, the older brother to wherever destination that he's going to be dropped off at. Next thing you know, whoop. I can't even do the actual sound. Whoop. How the police, that sound that when the police gets behind you, oh man, it's like a nightmare. You hate that sound. Police is behind them. Those blue lights cut on. For you all that's never had to really deal with that, it's not a great feeling whatsoever. So they get pulled over. Now, when they get pulled over, they actually debate taking the police on a high-speed chase because they got this banger in the car. I guess the driver at that point, he feel like, well, shoot, everything should be cool. I got a license, got registration, got insurance. Everything should be cool. So he decided, he made an executive decision, if you will, went ahead and pulled over. Police, questions everybody, asks for everybody's ID in the car. Everybody's compliant. Nobody has any warrants, anything like that. Police say their favorite thing that they love to say: we smell marijuana. Y'all have any drugs or weapons or anything like that in the car? No, sir. You mind if I search the vehicle? Well, officer, not to be disrespectful, but why do you have to search our vehicle? We haven't done anything. Officer basically tells them, we have probable cause to search your vehicle because we smell marijuana. Mind you all, I'm in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. I don't know how you all state laws are, but I'm in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. In any Commonwealth state, they basically have the right to a certain degree to kind of just make up rules as they go. They pull the 4 guys out of the car, cuff them. They tell them, oh, you're not under arrested. You're just being detained for your safety. For your safety, we're going to put these cuffs behind you and make, put your hands behind your back, cuff, and make you sit on the curb while we search your vehicle. But it's for your safety. You're not arrested. Well, officer, can we leave? No. You're being detained, but you're not under arrest. They search the car. Lo and behold, what do we have here? They find a pistol. 4 guys, 1 pistol. They're asking everybody, this belong to you? This belong to you? I tell you what, since nobody wants to claim it, I got about 10 minutes. And if nobody claims this pistol that we found, everybody's going to jail. And we're also going to, impound the vehicle. Everybody's kind of looking around. Nobody's saying anything. They run a check on the pistol. The pistol comes back as a stolen pistol. So it makes things even worse. Because it's one thing to have a gun, but when you have a stolen gun, now you're looking at 10 to 20. And that's without any sort of sentence enhancements. They get to the jail. Still nobody saying anything. The older brother that was picked up, he's pissed. He's livid. Because he feels as though, man, y'all not going to claim you're not going to claim your gun, man. The younger brother's like, bro, just chill out, man. Just chill out. Because like when you first come to the county jail, where we're from, you'll go, it's kind of like a waiting area. And that's where you get processed. They'll take your fingerprints. They'll take your, they have the phones where you can, make free phone calls. You'll see pre-trial to see if they're going to, lower your bond. They take your mug shot. So you may be in processing for maybe 2 or 3 hours. It used to be you was there like half the night, 7, 8 hours before they took you on up. So they're going back and forth or whatever, but they're keeping it relatively quiet. They're not yelling back and forth. Younger brother, like I said, he's like, bro, you just got to chill out right now. I can't tell him people it's mine. I'm not going to let you go down, but just chill out. You don't got no record. You see pre-trial. They going to lower your bond and you going to go home. I'm going to take the charge. I'm going to take my lick, but I can't just tell them that this is my gun right now for the simple fact I'm a 3-time, it makes me a 3-time loser. If I tell him this gun's mine right now, my lawyer don't have a leg to stand on. So I got to try to fight it, try to get the stop, thrown out or just go through my due diligence as far as, fighting the case. Now, if it comes down to it and I see that I can't beat the charge and I can't have it thrown out, I'm going to take the charge, but you got to chill out, bro. Older brother's like, you right. He sees pre-trial. For whatever reason, they don't lower his bond. Now in Kentucky, whatever your bond is what your bond is. You don't come with the automatic 10%. So if your bond is $25,000, that's your bond. Often times in other places, let's just say your bond's $25,000, you can post 10%, which is $2,500. You can get out. Not here. You have to see the judge. You have to, a lot of times have a lawyer. Your lawyer, goes in and asks for a bond reduction. Sometimes the judge will give it to you. Sometimes he won't. It just depends. This particular night, his bond wasn't reduced. It stayed the same. Brother's telling him, chill out, man. You go get arraigned in the morning. You go to arraignment. You still have an opportunity. They'll probably lower it once you go to arraignment. He goes to arraignment court. They still won't lower his bond. This guy has a clean slate. Now, he's been in trouble before, but nothing major. Maybe like some misdemeanors, things like that. He had just started school. As I mentioned, he was in vocational school. So now they get split up. Because once you go to processing, then they see that you're not going to make bond. They're going to send you to assessment. Once you're in assessment, you may be there for a day or two, maybe 3 days, depending on, how crowded the jail is. But at that point, you're going to get most likely separated. You're going to go to one unit. You're going to go to one unit. Every once in a while, a couple of y'all may go to the same unit. But these two individuals, which were brothers, they were like a year apart. They didn't go to the same unit. They went to individual units. The older brother, he goes back to court in about a week after arraignment. They still won't lower his bond. Actually, I take that back. The older brother, for y'all that don't know, that's my rewind. I don't edit my videos at this point. I'm going to start here pretty soon, but I just do the manual rewind. Respectfully. He goes to court, as I mentioned, about a week later, and they lower his bond, but it's still, I think his bond may have been $25,000, and instead of getting a 10% at $2,500, I think the judge lowered it to like $6,500, $7,500. The brother couldn't come up with that money. So now he's really, really heated because at this point he's been sitting in the jail, I don't know, about 10 days. He's missing class. He's supposed to start class. Once your case gets waived to the grand jury, which means it's going upstairs to the big court, circuit court, they have 60 days to indict you. Oftentimes, they'll take the entire 60 days to indict you. It's 58, 59 days, 54 days. So you have to literally sit in the county jail if you can't make bond until your next court date. So you waiting. He's waiting to get indicted. He's mad. Word is getting back to the little brother. Bruh's talking, man. Bruh's, he's talking about, man, you ain't taking your lick and the gun was caught in the car and he ain't having nothing to do with it. The mother's coming down there visiting both of her sons. She's having to hear both sides. She's hearing the younger brother. He's telling his side, but he can only say so much. You see what I'm saying? Because they do listen to your phone conversations or what have you, as well as your conversations on visit. So he can't really say too much, but he's kind of lightweight talking in code. But the older brother, nah, man, that ain't mine, man. I'm down here for no reason. I'm sitting in this jail. I ain't do nothing. They need to take their lick, man. So they going back and forth or whatever, and people's delivering messages. He said this, he said that, or what have you. Now, the younger brother, he felt as though, bro, you called me. I didn't call you, you called me. Only reason we had that is because we were coming down there to ride for you, to protect you. And now because we get caught up, now all of a sudden you don't have anything to do with it. But yet you called me in a time of need. You know how I roll. So what you thought I was coming down there with? Had a valid point. Now I'm in the county jail at this point. I'm in the same cell. I think it was a 10-man cell. I'm in the same cell with the younger brother. So, he's talking about the case or whatever. And he's just like, bro, we didn't even have it on us. We went and got it to come down there and protect him. Now, I don't know if that's the truth or not. I tend to think that he probably just rolled with it on a regular basis. But hey, I got to take his word, at face value. He said that they didn't have it on him. And that they went after they received a phone call. And then he said that the brother was like, hey, you know what to bring that thing. You know what I'm saying? Said that he told him, bring it. But now he mad at me because we end up getting, caught up or whatever. I can't run in here and just tell these people, as I mentioned earlier, I can't go in here and just tell these people they give me 40 years, 30 years. I got to try to fight it. All he got to do is just sit still for a little bit. They're going to eventually let him out, and everything's going to be all good. Got to the point to where the older brother's ready to talk to them people. He's sick and tired of sitting in the county. His girl's telling him, look, baby, you need to come home to us, man. You know, I know it's your brother, but your brother's going to be what your brother's going to be. You need to get home to us. You need to talk to them people. You need to do whatever you need to do to get home. The mother's kind of torn because she don't really know what to say. She's more on the side of the older brother. You need to tell them that, you know, what you need to tell them. Once again, I reiterate, and I'm going to continue to reiterate this. The younger brother can't do that at this point. I can't do that. So you want me to go in here and say, yeah, this was mine. So now that they have a confession from me, yeah, my brother's cleared, but they have a confession. So if they say, okay, well, you know, we're going to give you 30 years and that's the best offer we're going to give you. Otherwise, we're going to trial. You can't beat it at trial because you've already confessed. So how can I tell the people that this gun is mine? I'm going to tell them eventually. But right now, I got to get that deal down. If I can't get it thrown out, I have to get it down to, you know, a manageable number, 5 years, 6 years, something like that. Otherwise, man, they're going to stretch me all the way out. You know, Urban Dictionary, man, they going to throw the book at me. For y'all that may not know. So this continues to go on. Words are exchanged or what have you. They end up seeing each other because once everyone got indicted, you go to court together. It's 4 of them, so they're all on the same case. They co-defendants. The older brother, he goes to court. Finally, they lower his bond to a number like $1,000. So they lower his bond. He gets out. He makes a $1,000 bond. The younger brother, they don't lower his bond because he's been in trouble several different times. The other 2 individuals, they're staying solid. They're not saying a word. They know what their street life's really about. They're not saying anything. As I mentioned before, the older brother, he wasn't really in the streets like that. You know? So he's not really understanding the street code. He's not really understanding that even though it wasn't yours, but you can't say nothing, man. You can't say nothing. You just got to ride it out. Because if you say something, guess what that makes you? It makes you a rat. And you got to tell on your brother. Then you're going to have to end up potentially taking the stands on your brother if he goes to trial. So you can't say anything. The brother's going back and forth to court, going back and forth to court. Finally, he gets tired of it. He tells the people, hey, that was my brother's gun, man. That was my brother's gun. He tells the people that. They come back to the older brother or the younger brother. They give him the proof, you know, the signed statements or what have you that the older brother made. While he wasn't surprised, he was definitely hurt. How can my brother do this to me, man? Here it is. I went and got my part and we came to ride for him. You gonna sign statements on me? You literally gonna sign statements on me and tell the people and agree to testify against me when I had already told him that I'm gonna ultimately take the charge? Just trying to get the number down to a manageable number if I can't get it thrown out. I told him that. To add insult to injury, he's not even locked up at this point. He's out on the streets with his family, getting to go to school and work and, you know, all the great things you can do while you're out here in this free world. I'm locked up holding it down, and he decides to work with the people. I ain't messing with him ever again in life. That's my brother. So I ain't gonna hurt him. I ain't gonna do nothing to him. But he's on his own. Again, the mother, she's torn. They're both mad at the mother, essentially. But it ended up to where the older one, him and the mother, they got kind of cool because, you know, she was telling the youngest one that he needed to take his charges. So the youngest one, you know, he had a problem with the mother, and he felt as though she was showing, favoritism or what have you. And it was just a big old mess, man. That case went on, and eventually what ended up happening, the feds came in and picked the case up, the gun case. The feds came and picked up the case. The younger brother got indicted by the feds, got charged by the feds, and he ended up getting like 8 years, which wasn't really a bad number. Now, when I say that to say any number with the feds is not a good number. Don't get me wrong. But being that he had a prior record, he already had 2 prior felonies, and I believe one of them was already a gun charge, to, come away with 8 years in the feds, he ended up getting a pretty good deal, considering the circumstances. The 2 brothers, they stopped speaking, and the last time that I seen him, speaking of the younger brother, the last time that I seen him, I ran into him, I want to say about 6 months ago. I ran into him at the store, and we was talking, and like, man, remember that time we was in the county together, man, and we got to talking about it or whatever, and I kind of I brought it up, but I didn't really bring the situation up, and he let me know that him and his brother to this day, they still don't talk. Very, very awkward situations. Family events, they're never there at the same time. One's there, the other one's not. Sad situation, man. See, the street life causes things like this. Because at the end of the day, the youngest brother did what nearly anybody's going to do. I cannot tell these people this is my gun. I will eventually. I'm not going to let you go down for it, but right now you're going to have to sit still for a few months. It's a dirty game, man. Now, even though he didn't play dirty, a lot of people will look at this video and be like, nah, he's supposed to tell him it was his. Again, how can he? He ain't trying to get 30, 40 years. He got to fight, to a certain degree. He has to fight. And when there's no more fighting left to do, or, he can't win, got to know when to, got to know when to hold him, got to know when to fold him. And especially when them feds, once they stepped in, ain't no more fighting. You better take accountability, get a couple of those, your levels dropped. See, the feds go by sentencing guidelines. So the quicker that you take your lick, your punishment, your sentencing, it goes down. Your guidelines, you go down a certain amount of levels or what have you for taking accountability and not taking them through, a whole lot of back and forth, going back and forth to court. Street life just ain't worth it, man. Look what happened. You got 2 brothers that was close. Like I said, literally like a year apart. Haven't spoken since then, 10, 12 years. The mother's torn. I know she's hurt. Don't come to family events. They kids don't play with each other. I'm sure they do, but they don't probably see each other as often as they, normally would. All because they got pulled over and the police found a gun. Could have been way worse. A lot of times, man, when the police pull you over, they find way more than a gun. They could have had drugs on them. The police could have tried to stack the charges up against them, because that's what happens. That's what happens. Say you get pulled over and you got drugs on you. They're not going to just charge you for trafficking. They're going to charge you with trafficking. They're going to charge you with, you tried to hide the drugs. Who wouldn't try to hide them? They're going to charge you with tampering with physical evidence because you tried to hide the drugs. Oh, you're within 1,000 yards of a school. gonna charge you with being within 1,000 yards of a school. So now you facing 25, 30 years. I know you weirdos. Well, how about you just don't get in trouble? You just don't break the law. I understand that, but that's not what this message is really about. It's just so sad, man, that you see a lot of these young people that are opting for the street life. Because when I was coming up, the dudes that was jumping in the game, jumping in the street life, it was because, man, they come from nothing. They didn't have anything. They come from nothing. They come home, man, the electric might be out. You got the heat's out. Warm up the place, you got to cut the stove on. And that's dangerous. You got to cut the stove on to heat up the whole house. Ain't nothing in the refrigerator. Don't have no clothes or what have you to wear. They sharing clothes, wearing same shoes and things like that back and forth to school. They ain't have nothing. So they did what they had to do. But now you got these guys now, they come from great families. They jumping out there in the street life, in the street game. Don't even have to do it. Just doing it. Because it seems like it's fun. It seems like it's something to do. It's all fun and games. Till them people come kicking your door. Until you see them blue lights behind you and y'all riding dirty. That's when the fun and games end. I had somebody jump in my comments the other day and said, man, why you always talking about the young people? As though older people don't catch. Why you don't, speak to the older people? My thing is this. I'm speaking to anybody that listen. I just target younger people. I'm not saying all young people. There are a lot of young people that's out there doing the right thing in life. So I'm not saying all young people. But I am saying it's a lot easier to reach younger people opposed to trying to talk to a 40-year-old, a 50-year-old. They ain't trying to really listen to me, hear nothing that I'm saying. But a 16-year-old you may catch his ear. You may catch his attention or her attention. So again, I'm speaking to anybody that'll listen. Man. Stay out them streets. Keep your mind in them books. Get your activity, play sports, music, whatever you want to do. Anything that's going to keep your mind occupied and keep you out of them streets, man. There's only two places you can end up. Death and jail. Period. Those are the options. It ain't going to happen to me. I'm too smooth. I know somebody right now. Grown man. Nah, I'm too smooth for that, man. They got me before I know if they trying to set me up. Right. If school's not your thing, man, get you a trade, get you a skill. But you got to do something to avoid being in them streets, man. Got to do something. It's not going to end well for you, man. Sure, most of y'all seen the, situation that's going on in Memphis. Really don't want to speak on that too much because I'm not from Memphis, never been to Memphis, so I don't really know a lot about it. But I know that it's a war going on in Memphis. And a lot of people are dropping. And it's not going to stop no time soon. You kill my dog, I kill your cat. And it's a whole lot of that going back and forth, man. A lot of these youngsters now, man, there's no code, there's no, no principle, nothing. Shooting up mothers' houses, grandmothers' houses, shooting up cars with kids in it. It don't even matter. Any means necessary to get my op. Man, stay away from that, man. Stay out of that lifestyle and do the right thing simply because it's the right thing to do. Real Kens TV, man. Hopefully you liked the video. Feel free to comment. Definitely share, subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. And be sure to hit that post notification. So anytime I bring you this action and this heat, guess what? You're amongst the first to receive.